Well, again it's a time for fragrance review, and till now as I am recording this video, most of you selected for the full review of Rayhaan Obsidian, but this time it was definitely a close contest. The La Dida for him and the Armaf Ombre D'Or were not very far behind, and this is also the first time I am doing a full review of any Rayhaan fragrance on my channel. I believe I have only included them in short videos, but that's about to change today. But before that, if you are watching my video for the first time, please do consider subscribing to the channel and don't forget to hit the notification bell as well. So let's dive in. Beginning as usual with the presentation and packaging, the outer covering is slightly different given that the paper box with engraving in it, and inside you can find a regular box. At the bottom of the box you can find the batch code and the production and expiry date of this fragrance, and the design pattern goes throughout the four sides of this box. At the top you can see the brand name Rayhaan, and on the front you can see the Rayhaan Obsidian. Now removing the outer paper cover, it reveals a very simple box, nothing fancy, just plain and simple. The inner box simply slides out of the paper cover, and the box is pretty minimalist in terms of design, with Rayhaan Obsidian in silver color on the black box. Now let's get straight to the bottle then. The bottle is very similar to the Rayhaan Elixir one, and I think this is the black chrome color. It is very glossy and it is not made up of metal. The outer pattern you are watching is just made up of plastic, and inside you can see the dark glass, but you can see the juice label inside it. Now at the bottom you can see the batch code of the bottle. Design wise there is nothing more to talk about. It follows the similar pattern on the bottle as that of the outer box. And now let's move on to the spray test. As you can see, it is not a pressurized atomizer, but it does throw a good amount of juice and the spray is really wide. In terms of presentation and packaging, there is nothing to complain about, but there is nothing special about it as well. I would say an 8.5 out of 10. Now before we get to the smell, I had watched a video of Rayhaan Obsidian where a fragrance reviewer or influencer said that it was very similar to the vintage DHP. And if you are buying this thinking of that fragrance, then you are in for a big disappointment. And that's the problem with false hyping. They create an image of the fragrance in your mind, and once the expectations are set very high, you are bound to be disappointed. And not only that, there will be negative reviews of this fragrance due to false informations and a totally different expectation. It's not even in the same ballpark as that of vintage DHP, because that is one of the best designer fragrances that has ever been released. Sadly, it has been discontinued, and the newer DHP is sadly a pale shadow of the former fragrance. Now let's come back to the Rayhaan Obsidian. As a fragrance on its own, it is not a bad fragrance actually. It opens up with light hint of citrus along with little bit of spices which feels like cumin and maybe a bit of saffron. I find the opening to be slightly on the synthetic side, and I also detect a lot of sweetness in this fragrance, almost like a combination of amber, vanilla and tonka beans. It feels very youthful and nothing like in the territory of DHP. And I am not talking about the DHP that was released this year. The iris part of this fragrance is also somewhat restrained. It is there, but it remains mostly in the background. So don't expect a lot of powdery, waxy iris from this fragrance. I would say it is more of a sweeter take on the Reserve Prive. In the dry down, it gets very woody in nature with some sweet and floral aspects to it. In my humble opinion, this is a perfectly unisex fragrance since this is a very sweet, lightly powdery with touch of citrus and some spiciness. If you are in a very tight budget and want a good iris fragrance which is waxy and powdery in nature, I would steer you towards the Dark Door Intense or the Cayenne Classic. But if you are someone who likes very sweet fragrances like the 9 PM or the O'Clock or any fragrance that is on the similar lines, I would recommend you to try this fragrance. It is made slightly more mature and a touch more complex as well. This is more of a mass appealing fragrance in my opinion. In terms of scent profile, I would give this fragrance an 8 out of 10. Maybe I would have given an 8.5, but with the high expectations, I don't feel like giving it. Don't get me wrong, this is a good fragrance, but I think that the price is not quite right. Many times the products are not wrong, but the prices are. If this perfume would have been priced around 2000 Indian rupees, I think it would have been a really good value, because in terms of performance it is actually very good. I easily get about 7 to 8 hours of longevity and good projection for the first 1.5 to 2 hours. But since this is a very sweet fragrance, I would not particularly recommend you to wear this fragrance to the office, school, college or any formal events for that matter. This is more of an youthful fragrance for the clubbing or chilling out with friends or date nights as well. There is not not enough freshness in this perfume that I could recommend this fragrance to you in summer season, but you can certainly get away with this cologne in the spring season. Ideally, this perfume is more towards the cool weather. So the score for overall versatility of this perfume would be an 7 out of 10, and if possible, give this fragrance a try, but do not blind buy this fragrance. And definitely temper your expectations if you are looking for an Irish fragrance. And if you are looking for some affordable long-lasting winter fragrances this season, then do check my previous video. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button, and if you were watching my video for the first time and you love fragrances, then do consider subscribing to the channel, and while you are there, don't forget to hit the notification bell as well. So that's it for today's video. I will meet you all in an exciting new video. Till then, stay safe and as always, stay honest.